called a cuddler. That's what this seat is called.
That's why you picked it.
We're supposed to cuddle.
Welcome to the podcast, everybody.
This is a special edition, the Cuddle Cast.
the cuddle cast. It's really unusable this week.
Yeah. Really.
This is
It's just gonna be 2 hours of us cuddling.
Oh no. This is my good friend Bryce, co-host of Godstrong podcast. How did I forget that, man?
Because we haven't filmed in a long time.
This is true. It's on my calendar every week.
Oh, that's good.
Every Friday night, I get a reminder from Google. It's like, hey, you have to record a podcast tomorrow. And I go, nope. Yeah.
Yep.
You want to introduce yourself a little?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm Bryce.
He's Bryce.
That was a little.
He's got a weird last name.
Paoli. It's Italian.
Sounds like ravioli.
It does, because it's Italian.
Is it really?
All Italian words sound the same.
I mean, you're not entirely wrong.
No, that is a fact.
Don't ask any Italian or listen to any Italian song or anything like that. Just take us for a word.
Yes. Don't play Mario. Or any
That's
Nintendo.
all in English.
Yeah.
But he is Italian. He doesn't really even speak English. He's just like, whoa.
This is true. He
Yeah.
says like 5 phrases in his entire career.
Let's go.
His entire career.
Yeah.
And then the voice actor does a dragon. You know that?
What?
So the voice actor for Mario, not from the Mario movie, but just Mario. He also voice acted a dragon in Skyrim.
Oh.
I didn't realize that
quite
the
the
Skyrim dragons talked.
A few of them do.
A few of them do. Huh.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
The dragon's name was Parthenax.
Didn't ask. No.
You're just gonna pull up the whole Wikipedia page about this voice actor.
I have a story about that. So, okay, I have a friend. I have a friend who will debate on just about anything. They have a lot of opinions. I love them. And if you guys are watching, I love you guys. But y'all got some opinions and you know it. And we were playing Mario Kart. And they were like, yeah, so no. Funky Kong is Donkey Kong's dad or something like that. And I was like, no. That's Grandpa Kong is Donkey Kong's dad. And they're like, no. And I was like, I will literally pull up the Wikipedia. And they're like, go ahead.
But where does King Kong come into the equation?
Civil lawsuits. That's where.
He's a distant cousin. You know? He's like, you know when like you have like everyone, you have cousins in Italy, I'm sure, that you don't know about. I have cousins in Germany that I don't know about. Whatever. In fact, actually, I do know about my cousins in Germany. They you, what? Anyway, I'm gonna pass that. I have cousins in Germany that own a castle. I know that much.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I have cousins in Tennessee that own a flower shop.
I'm related to Joe Exotic.
What?
The Tiger King.
What?
Wow.
Yeah.
Like how related?
Like pretty related. Like he's like my third cousin or something like that.
Oh,
We were born in the same town.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
What's funny
that's weird.
is I used to work for a guy that actually went to his zoo once.
So, yeah. Yep. The family
And,
business.
Really?
Yeah. I'm pretty closely related to him. Like my mom went to the same high school as him.
Huh. That's
Wow.
I don't think I like that actually. Anyway, so I pull up the Wikipedia article about the Kong family, and I get very like invested. I'm like taking these quotes, and I'm like getting heated, and they're like, "No," and like this was the dad of the family was talking. Like, "No, I play Funky Kong." And Hunter, his son, plays Donkey Kong. The Funky Kong is Donkey Kong's dad because it. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And they were like, we just wanted to see how far you would go because every time we're like, hey, you should look this up when we're like telling you about our theories, they're like, you don't ever. You're just like, yeah, sure, whatever. But we talk about Donkey Kong and you get heated. And I'm like, okay, well, I hate you guys. Let's play another round.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I think that was one of the lowest points in my life, actually.
I've got a problem of getting a little too into discourse.
I don't like that word.
If someone disagrees with me, I will destroy them. No, I'm just kidding. I might drag it on a little more than it should be, but a lot of times. But that's because I'm right.
Of course.
They just don't understand.
Yeah. Everyone else is dumb except for me. Obviously.
Like, that would make the most sense.
Yeah. We were talking before the episode started about Mormons.
Yes.
I don't even remember how they got brought up. But then I pulled out the podcast Book of Mormon.
Book of Mormon.
Which, can you actually hand that to me real quick? Along with the podcast fork. I'll just set this up where it needs to go.
Nice.
Perfect. That's how it belongs.
Honestly, when is that going to become our logo?
Edit some flames to the bottom of it.
I should probably at some point incorporate the podcast fork into the logo because right now we just got a trash can. That's not. I don't know. But people are gonna be like, why is the unusable podcast have a fork? Like, is it like food related?
Eat up our trash. You eat up our verbal trash.
I guess that's facts.
I guess that's facts.
I don't know. I'm exhausted because yesterday I went to Silver Dollar City. I spent like the whole day there pretty much. And it was fun, but I noticed something very unusual.
Yeah.
The employees of Silver Dollar City, I think they're AI. I hate the term NPC at this point because it's been ruined by middle schoolers, but I think they're NPCs. I think they're AI. I talked to a grand total of 2 employees yesterday. And they both went to the same exact conversations. Like, they're like, okay, so where are you from? And I'm like, oh, I'm from Ozark. And they're like, oh, that's not too far. You got season passes? Yeah, I do actually. Oh, that's cool. You know, Christmas time is where you gotta come see our Christmas stuff. Like, it's amazing. Right. I'm like, yeah, it is. And then they're like, yeah, gets real busy though. Real busy. Like, they're all traumatized. Like, they get Vietnam flashbacks from Christmas season. And it's like, okay, I've lived here my whole life. And I've seen the Silver Dollar City Christmas stuff since I was a baby.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're all like, oh, so you live super close and you have season passes. I gotta tell them about the Christmas stuff. It happened twice. Like, that's how it went every time. It was so strange.
Christmas there is cool, but it's almost like unbearable.
Unbearably busy.
Yeah, it's insane.
Like, if you go there with more than 3 people, you got to get one of those like kindergarten ropes to stay together, or you will lose your friends. You might lose them for like the rest of the day.
You know what's funny is I actually I got lost when I was a kid at Silver Dollar City during Christmas time.
Me too.
I was walking behind my dad and my sister, and I started following a different father and daughter.
Oh. Oops.
Because the father had a green jacket on, which I thought was just my dad's Oakland A's hoodie, and the girl was wearing the exact same coat my sister had.
That's weird.
The weirdest thing about it is like neither of them were wearing those things that day.
Oh,
it was like just stuff they had.
Yeah,
I just started following them.
I feel like I've done that at church before.
Almost walked entirely. So like you know where Thunderation is.
Yeah,
almost walked entirely from Thunderation to out of the park.
Oops.
Following because I was following the park was closing and I was following my dad and my sister and they turned off at like Thunderation. And so that's when I apparently just found a new family. Followed them like all the way out the park. And then I like ran up in front of them to tell them a joke that I had been thinking of for like the past 10 minutes and finally it was funny. So I like ran up in front of them and I look and it's not my dad or my sister. I'm like, oh. I remember I was like bawling. And some random like 20-year-old girl who was with a big group of friends like held my hand and helped me find my dad.
Okay, I've been told that this story didn't happen, but this is how I remember
stories
it.
From your childhood, don't you?
I do. Yeah, there's a lot of dreams that I had as a child that I'm like, oh yeah, you remember when we went to like the cheese canyon and they're like, Josiah, that's not real. And I go, you're right, it's not real. What the heck?
So vivid.
Yeah, no, but in fact, one of those stories was when I was a kid. I had a dream that there was a football stadium behind Mount Rushmore, and I got lost behind Mount Rushmore, and it took me, I think, 5 years to figure out that was a dream. Like I didn't figure out that was a dream until I was like 10.
Oh,
that's pretty funny.
Anyway, so I somehow got it in my head that my parents were telling me to go walk to this restaurant so my family was sitting at a line for a show. And so I got it in my head that my parents were telling me to go walk to a shop and buy a bloomin' onion. I was probably like 5 or 6 at this time. In my infinite now wisdom, looking back, I see they didn't give me money at all. There's no way that they were like, yeah, just go get one with the money that you have, 5-year-old. And so I'm like walking over. I just leave. I just walk away. And I'm trying to find this store with a bloomin' onion, and I cannot find it. And eventually I get scared, as a kid does, where I'm like, wait a minute, I don't really know what I'm doing. I need to go ask some questions. So I turn around and it's like my brain had been wiped and like I couldn't remember where my parents were. I'm like, I know they're in line, but like I don't know where they are. I'm pretty sure I ran past them 3 times. Like just straight past them.
Josiah, go.
Oh, there he goes. Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm like bawling. And so eventually I like break down and some like 30-year-old man is like, hey, bud.
With me, little boy.
Yeah, I think he was legitimately like, hey, let's go find like your parents. And I'm like, oh, they're here. And he was like, oh, okay, yeah, okay. So it was like there was like a moment where it was like, I can kidnap this child. And then he's like, and then I was just like, no, they're in this line. And he was like, oh, I'm not getting away with this child. But I was like trying to explain what my parents looked like, but I couldn't remember what they were wearing. And then eventually my dad just walked up and was like, Josiah, why are you here? And I'm like, I've been looking for you. He's like, you're like 20 feet away from us. Why are you talking to this man?
Long story short, he didn't walk to a store.
No,
he just walked across the street.
Pretty much, yeah.
And then just started running in circles.
Maybe I do have autism. I don't know.
You're like asking people for blooming onions.
just running by, like just bawling. Yeah, blooming onion. My parents.
I just want a bloomin' onion. I'm pretty sure like the next week my parents got a bloomin' onion at a restaurant somewhere. I think it was like Red Robin or something.
You just knew your parents that well to know they wanted a bloomin' onion.
No, I think I just really, really wanted a bloomin' onion for some reason. Probably because there was like Outback Steakhouse was running a lot of ads back then, and I watched a lot of cable TV as a child. So
me too.
It's funny that was a selling point.
it was
Come
the bloomin'
here
onion
for a blooming onion.
Yeah. I mean, have you had a bloomin' onion?
Yeah, they're good.
Delicious.
It's just funny that is their selling point.
They are a steakhouse, and so it's like half our side.
I've never had
Exactly.
a bloomin' onion that I was like impressed with. I've had onion rings that I've been really impressed with.
Yeah.
I will say bloomin' onion, I haven't had one since I was probably 12.
Yeah.
I have them frequently. Well, not so much anymore, but like me and Kobe used to go to steakhouses like every weekend.
Jeez.
So
That actually hurts my soul, how much money that would be. I also am not a big fan of steak.
Oh, we can't be friends anymore.
Well, me and Josiah probably had the same relationship with steak. We always get like the worst cut of steak that's not cooked right, and it's just gristle with like 3 bites of steak.
All right.
Yeah.
That will ruin it.
Yeah, I think my parents just buy bad steaks.
You're going to have to eat some steak I grill.
Okay.
When we were in Tennessee, you missed out.
I did.
You missed out.
Where was
big
Oh, I
time.
was in Kentucky. That's right.
We had the best New York strip steak ever, and I grilled it. And the funniest thing about it is I bought it from Walmart.
Yeah.
It was just some Knoxville, Tennessee Walmart strip steak.
Yeah.
And I seasoned it with Kinder's Woodfire garlic, I think it was the name of the season. Like, I rubbed that in. And the Airbnb had a little green egg charcoal grill, and we used charcoal, what are they called? Charcoal lumps. Like, and that stuff was good. So good. Kobe and Reed both said, yeah, that's the best steak I've ever had.
Wow.
I was like, it's
Did you guys
definitely on, like,
almost
the top
also
3 list.
almost like die in
Yeah,
that
from-
Airbnb?
Yeah.
From what? Want to tell that story?
Second time we had steak while we were there. I left the charcoal out that night, and it was a little wet that night, but they wanted steak the next day. And so I ended up using like a whole bottle of lighter fluid to try to get the charcoals to burn. And our steaks tasted a lot like lighter fluid, like a lot. We didn't eat the steaks. No. We each took like a bite, and we were like, oh, it's not very good. We were like, maybe it's just because it's the outside. Ate like another bite, and we were like, oh, is this healthy? Are we like able to do this and survive? And then I remember I took my third bite, and it was probably the worst bite, and it was like right out of the middle of the steak. I was like, guys, spit yours out. We're gonna go get something to eat. It's like, it was bad. But then the Airbnb host, when we left, texted us and was like, hey, I don't know if you guys left something plugged in or something, but the whole house like reeks of like an electrical fire. So I was just making sure everything's okay. I was like, we didn't leave anything plugged in. But it was the smell of lighter fluid.
Oh my gosh.
That stunk up the whole house. That's what she was smelling. Because it wasn't like a tiny like lighter fluid bottle.
No.
Like it was the good size.
Yeah.
You're like, nothing's wrong. Just don't light a match.
We just used like a small green egg grill, and I was like trying to get the charcoals to burn.
Was that the only charcoal you had?
Yeah, we could have went to the store, but we were starving, so I was just. What's really funny is the first night there was no lighter fluid at all, and I couldn't get the charcoal to burn at all. And so I sent Kobe and Reed to get some lighter fluid, and I was like, yeah, the convenience store will have it. If not, Walmart's still open. It's like 5 more minutes away from us than the convenience store. So try the convenience store, then try the Walmart. And they come back with this little bottle that's like the stuff to refill a lighter with.
Oh my gosh.
Like, that'll work, sure, but
it didn't work well. It worked, but it didn't work well. But still cooked like the best steaks ever.
Wow.
That night using that. So As long as I don't use wet charcoal.
Yeah.
You're in for the best steaks you've ever had.
Okay. As long as I'm starving in Tennessee.
I just got to drive to Knoxville, Tennessee to pick up some New York strip from Walmart. And then it'll be delicious.
How about you just go to like her house?
That's a good idea, but yeah, I guess I can do that.
It might save you some gas money. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Dude, if I drove my truck to Tennessee, I would be stranded somewhere in between here and Tennessee.
So you'd be in Kentucky.
Probably.
You want to complain about your truck a little?
Do I want to?
Yeah.
I don't complain very often. But I mean, I can discuss details.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't want to vent. I'm just saying, like, my truck's... It's 23 years old, and it's a Ram 1500.
Yeah.
And
Boo.
it's got over 200,000 miles on it. So, I mean,
yeah,
like, what you can expect with that truck, that's what my truck is.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like I bought it for $6,000 when I was in high school.
Yep.
And we're probably getting close to like $5,000 in just keeping it running. I bought
Yikes.
it. I've had it for almost 4 years now. So 4 years, $5,000 to just keep it running.
This
I've had my car for about that same amount of time. Yeah.
One of my favorite stories of hanging out with you was
when the muffler came off.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I've lost the muffler on that truck.
What? Okay, so we went bowling?
Yeah.
Okay, we went bowling one night after the youth group that we go to, and we're heading back home. And he's turning onto the highway in his truck.
So I'm stomping on that.
Yeah. And like it's also like uphill onto the highway. So he's really like pushing hard. And his engine was kind of like sounding weird.
Yeah,
it sounded like it was kind of suffocating a little.
Yeah, well, it sounded like backfire. It was like bop, bop, bop.
Yeah.
And the last bop was like a loud bop.
It was a bang.
Sparks were all over the ground after that.
Yeah, I looked in the rearview mirror and there's like sparks coming off. I also heard like some metal clinging and
Flowmaster hitting the streets.
Yeah, and I was like, I think you lost something, and you were like, nah, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
I was like, okay.
We got like maybe like a half mile down the road. I'm like, my truck's really loud. I think I might have lost my muffler.
And I was like, yeah, I think that's what I said you lost. I think that checks out.
I saw the sparks, and I don't know what I assumed it was. Like, I guess I might have assumed that popping noise was backfire. Like one of my like spark plugs or something wasn't firing, or I don't know. And I just had backfired. The sparks was backfire or something.
You ran over a robotic raccoon.
Yeah.
But so, which is, I don't even know if I realized that your truck had gotten louder.
Yeah, no, I didn't either. And
that night,
I realized like a little bit later that it was like a little, like it sounded just a little off.
But I think it stopped recording.
Oh, it did. We go back to the house that the youth group is at to drop me off at my truck. So we're there for, I don't know, 2 minutes at 1 a.m. And you leave, I leave. I get a text at like, I think 6 a.m. from someone who lives at the house. And they go, why were you and Bryce at my house at 1 a.m? It was so loud. Because I had no muffler. And I was like, oh yeah, Bryce's truck is pretty loud. He was just dropping me off to get my truck, and she was just like, okay. I think I was the only one who heard it because I was the only one awake, but it was really loud and I felt like complaining about it. And I was like, that's fair. And then I think 3 hours later you texted me and you're like, hey, remember the like thing that fell off? And I go, yeah. And he goes, yeah, it was my muffler. It's gone. And I was like,
oh,
dude.
Yeah, no, I remember the time when I finally realized like my muffler came off. It was, I started my truck up the next day. And when I started my truck, it was like, raw, like super loud. I was like, oh, I don't think the muffler's on it anymore. And so I like crawl under my truck and I look and I'm like, yep, no muffler. So
That thing's gone.
yeah, it went from a Flowmaster muffler to a No Master muffler.
Yeah.
It's
And then
free.
you had another truck
No
problem
master.
like this week,
last week,
last week.
twice, 2 days, Wednesday and
Oh
Friday.
my goodness.
Yeah, so Wednesday, I got in my truck to leave for work, and I make it like a half mile from my house. Steering wheel gets wobbly, and I start hearing a grrr, and I was like, oh, shoot. And so I pulled over, and I was hoping that like a brake caliper bolt like came off or broke or something, and it was like my brake caliper running into my rim. Because that's an easy fix, and I've got a spare brake caliper bolt in my truck because one's broke before, and you can't buy them individually. Well, I mean, you can if you went to like a hardware store, but I went to an auto parts store and they sold me two. So, which I'm not going to complain when one broke. It's nice to have a spare.
Yeah.
So I was hoping it would be that, so like I could probably still make it to work.
Yeah.
But I look around my truck and I don't see anything wrong, and so I'm like, okay, I just need to get home and take my sister's truck. So I go home, get my sister's truck, go to work. Then after work, I have a meeting, and I finally get home at like 8:00, and I'm tearing my truck apart. When I got home, while at work, I was like, you know what? It was probably a wheel bearing, which sucks because I've already replaced the wheel bearings on my truck, both sides, multiple times.
Jeez.
The reason is because I was throwing AutoZone parts on it. Is why it's been multiple times. Now there's a one from Napa, which got a 3-year warranty. So
Nice.
I think probably will last better.
It'll last 3.5 years.
Yeah. 3 years and 1 month.
Yeah.
But when I was at work, I figured it was a wheel bearing. So I got home. I thought it was on the driver's side. So I immediately jacked up my driver's side and tried to wobble my tire to see if there's any play. Nothing. And so I'm like, oh, maybe it's not a wheel bearing. Maybe it's a bigger problem than I thought. I set the driver's side back down. I roll the jack over to the passenger side. I see my tire sticking out a little bit. I'm like, it's the wheel bearing.
Yep.
And so I jacked it up, stripped everything off, got the wheel bearing off, and while I'm doing that, Kobe's texting me. He's like, hey, you want to go get ice cream? And I said, me and my truck are broke. And he said, I'll drive and I'll buy ice cream. I was like, okay, but I have to go to the auto parts store. And so we went to the AutoZone, got a new wheel bearing on warranty, and got ice cream on the way back.
Yeah.
And I finished putting it together. I went to bed at like 11 o'clock that night, woke up, went to work, was fine all of Thursday. I had Friday off, but I went in for just couple hours of overtime, 2.5 to be exact. And when I was leaving work, my truck started going like halted to a stop.
Oh, geez.
I was like, that wheel bearing did not last long. 2 days is what it lasted.
Oh, my goodness.
I got out and I looked, and my tire was sticking out like that again. And so I'm on Kansas Expressway at 12 o'clock. But luckily my dad's like real close friend is a tow truck driver, so I didn't have to pay for a tow.
That's good.
And my dad wasn't working that day, so he drove me around to 5 different auto parts stores to get everything we need. Because the second time the wheel bearing went out, it wasn't just the wheel bearing. It took out the brake caliper, and it like tore up the threads on the axle, on the front axle for the passenger side. And you can buy the yoke for like $250, and then you have to buy a new U-joint, and those U-joints are a pain in the butt. But that type of U-joint, like a decent one's like $12 or something like that. So you could buy that for $250 and $12, or you can just buy the whole thing for $300 is what it was.
Yeah.
So we just bought the whole thing, and then a new wheel bearing, and it took out the brake caliper, but that was still under warranty.
Yeah.
So that was nice, and I got a refund on the AutoZone wheel bearing, so I ended up only having to pay like $300. For that whole ordeal. But yeah, that's not fun. Truck breaking down twice in the same week.
I just spent basically $250 on replacing my brakes because they were terrible.
$250.
Yeah, because it was new brake pads.
Yeah, new rotors. No, you said you got them turned.
Yeah, they were just turned.
Yeah,
and then the like brake lines flushed, and I had them do like. They also cleaned my rear brakes. I took it in.
Get a brake job is why you paid $250.
Yes,
because
but you know what?
Your testosterone levels are low.
Yeah. But I wanted it done right, and I'm sure that I have friends who can do that, but I cannot. So I'd rather just pay.
Chris Fix on YouTube?
No. I also was not going to spend. You know what I did? I took my truck to the shop yesterday morning, and then I spent the entire day at Silver Dollar City. Had a grand old time, and then picked up my truck this morning, and it was very worth the $250. Unless it could have saved me like $100 by doing it myself.
Oh, it would have saved you more than that.
Well, I can't turn my rotors.
I have access to.
Oh, you have access. Okay.
To brake lathes. That's what I used to do when I used to work for a company that repaired, sold, serviced tire changers, wheel balancers, brake lathes, automotive lifts. And so my dad owns a tire changer, owns a wheel balancer, owns a couple lifts, but doesn't have like a shop that he has them in. And I don't think he owns a brake lathe. He might, but I definitely know we have connections to them. So,
you want to rebuild my engine? No.
I've never done an engine rebuild. I've done like small engine rebuilds. I've rebuilt an engine on a 0-turn motor. I've rebuilt an engine on a dirt bike. But I've never rebuilt like a car engine, and that is scary to me.
Yeah.
I would love to. I would love to if it was like just like a fun little project for me. Like if I had a project car.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I would love to. I would want to do like a carbureted engine, not a new fuel injected where you have to worry about computers and stuff.
Yeah. I agree. I want to get like a 80s Porsche.
That'd be pretty cool. I want
nice
like
carbureted engine.
I want like a 82 Silverado. If I could have any truck.
It's that very boxy looking.
Yep. Yeah. Square body.
I like that one.
82 is the first Silverado that had the double stacked headlights. That's why the 82 is special. That's actually technically like the first year of the Silverado, because that's what made the Silverado. The Silverado was the double stacked headlights. Before then, it was just like a C10 or whatever.
Yeah.
CK10. I don't know how the C's and K's go. I'm stupid.
Yeah.
I've never been able to remember. Like
I have a friend who has a C10.
Yeah, one of them's a half ton. One of them's a 3/4 ton. I think that's what the difference is. I don't know.
I also have no idea what that. Like, I don't know what a 1-ton truck is.
Well, that's because you drive a Ford Ranger.
Yeah.
A half-ton truck is what I have. A 1500. When it says 1500, that's a half ton. A 3/4 ton is a 2500, and then a 1 ton is a 3500.
Okay, but what does that mean?
That's the payload. So that's
okay. I figured that's what it was, because I was like, it's not the weight, because like a Corolla is a ton or whatever. Like,
yeah, that's like how much you could throw in the bed of the truck.
Okay,
and
or tow.
Well, towing's a little different.
Okay.
That when you get to towing, you have to do the GVWR, and then you have to subtract the curb weight of the vehicle, and that's what when you get your tow rating.
See, what I do is I just put things on a trailer and then I see if my truck can do it.
See how much the suspension squats?
Yeah. I hauled one thing in my truck, and that is this very couch.
Oh. On a trailer?
On a trailer, yeah. It's the first time ever driving a trailer. I, of course, did not tell that to the owner of the trailer. I was like, yeah, I can do it. And they're like, yeah, I'm sure you can do it.
Dude, I've pulled so many trailers at this point. And I would like to say that I am pretty darn good at hauling trailers for being a 20-year-old. Like at the place I work, I'm the go-to guy to haul a trailer, which is saying a lot because I'm 20 years old.
Yeah.
Like I work with guys who are nearly 50.
Yeah.
And have been pulling trailers since before I was born, and I'm the go-to guy to pull trailers. Also, I've never had like a DWI like some of the guys and stuff like that. But like I'll show you pictures of the trailers I've pulled.
I had while you're pulling that, I had a friend, I actually went on a trip with him to Virginia, and he was hauling goats.
Ah, yes.
This is the last time my truck broke down.
Oh my goodness. Okay, it's gone.
Tyler.
Okay.
The whole tire
popped off. I thought you took it off. It popped off.
It popped. Well, that's why my truck has the rotor all scratched up and is sitting on the rotor. And that was like 2 blocks from my house.
Yeah,
like
I can
turned
tell.
around to go back to my house, and the tire popped off.
Yikes. That's rough.
Yeah, it was rough. Look.
Oh my goodness.
Good times.
For the podcast watchers, his rotor has like a ring where all of the like corrosion has been just grinded off.
Do you never mind.
Anyway,
it's about to change the subject. When Stone's trailer I pulled.
Wow,
that one was easy.
Decent trailer.
This is the real boy. This 40-foot gooseneck trailer. I've
loaded up with tons of metal
so many times. Well, that's not even that heavy. I'll show you. There's a heavier load I hauled with that. This is the company work truck.
What is that?
Tiny it looks next to the semis. It's in a Suzu.
Yes, it's a Japanese truck. Yep. Those are really cool.
Sure.
They are. You don't see them very often.
They're not as cool as the K trucks, the really small ones.
The Korean trucks?
No.
Okay, so this is my boss's truck in his 40-foot gooseneck, and then here's it with a ton of, and that's just one side. Like it's got the same thing on the other side.
That's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it technically was illegal for me to be hauling that amount of weight. But don't ask, don't tell, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So my first job had a lot to do with hauling things on gooseneck trailers.
Yeah.
And,
what was the longest gooseneck you've pulled?
I didn't pull it because
I
the person
that's what he did.
No, what I did is I rode with a crew of a total of 3 people in a truck hauling inflatable games all around.
What? I had no idea that you worked that job at some point.
Yeah, I used to work for an inflatable games company, and the truck had like a broken speedometer, so only God knows how fast we were going. Like,
I hauled that thing all the way down to Branson. Driving through the strip was a little nerve-wracking because that was a while ago. That was almost like 2 years ago, and I thought
if there any watchers have driven through Branson, you know how terrible it is. Now imagine driving a gooseneck trailer through that.
Yeah, and that was only like my 3rd time ever hauling a gooseneck.
I think I'd die of a heart attack.
Dude,
actually,
I was pretty nervous, but it was okay.
Yeah, I did notice that hauling trailers is not that hard.
Nah.
Not until you start backing up.
Yeah, I was going to say, did you try backing up with it?
I did. Yeah. I kind of failed.
Yeah. Well, trailers are pretty easy to back up once you understand them. One of the tricks my mom does, she's a truck driver.
Yeah.
She uses the steering wheel, and she imagines like down the middle of her steering wheel is her trailer. So if you turn your steering wheel this way, your trailer is pointing that way.
Oh.
The way I think about it is a little more complicated, but makes sense with me, so I don't even have to think about it anymore, is whichever way I turn is the way the back of my truck's going to go, and the back of my truck's going to go the opposite direction of the trailer, like how I think.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't even have to think about it. I just do it instinctively now because like I've hauled so many trailers at this point because work.
Mm-hmm.
I have owned a couple boats at this point. Tiny little fishing boats, nothing impressive. Like I bought a couple fishing boats that were just ransacked for a couple $100 and then sold them for a little bit of profit.
Yeah,
like it's not like anything impressive, but and then I fixed the trailer lights on Stone's trailer. I think that trailer was I don't know, it was probably like 25, 30 feet, and I hauled a like a 15-foot trailer down to down past Branson. It was like a little south of Branson. It was probably still, I don't know, Branson West or something. I don't know which town it was actually. That was a while ago. But I hauled a trailer down there, then hauled like washing and drying and machines and a couch for my sister and her fiance when they're moving in together.
Yeah.
So I've pulled quite a few trailers at this point.
Yeah. I will say,
and it's easy.
Yeah.
I've jumped a few curbs.
Oh.
Well, one of the times was intentional because I didn't have any other options.
Yeah.
We were setting up some temporary fencing. This was that 40-foot gooseneck trailer. We were setting up temporary fencing, and it was at the Mercy Clinic in well, it wasn't a clinic, it was like a Mercy Hospital in Joplin. I think. Yeah, Joplin. And we were just running the truck along the line of where we were setting up the fence. Well, when we got to the end, there was like a sharp bend, and it's the like front main entrance. So you have like a curb here, the front entrance here, and then a cover, and like a super sharp turn. And we were just pulling up, and I had my hazards on, and I was like staying to the side. People could get around me, but one car decided to just get directly behind the trailer and just sit there, wait for us to get out of his way.
Geez.
And so I'm like, are you gonna move? Like I put it in reverse and was just waiting. And I like even got out to see if the reverse lights were working, and they were. I was like, you see this? And he was just sitting there. And so like I tried to like pull forward a little bit and like get the trailer around him, but we were right next to that like curb thing that you had to go around. And so like I couldn't get the trailer around him. So I was like, I guess we're gonna try to make it through this bend. Yeah. And so I tried, and I was like, no way. And I came, and I tried again. I was like, no way. And then I came, and I tried again. I was like, we can do it, but we're gonna jump this we're gonna jump this curb. And there's like one of the U.S. Postal Office blue containers right on the inside of the curb. So I had like a foot of the curb I could jump. Yeah. So I was like, please just don't take out this U.S. Postal box. But we jumped it, got past it just fine. The funniest thing is, it's not that funny. I don't know why I said the funniest thing, but the two guys who I was there with have both quit.
Huh.
Yeah. I know. It's not even it's not even an important detail. It doesn't change the story at all. But yeah, and those two guys were great. They were hilarious. Is it okay if I say an inappropriate word in Spanish? Because it's part of the story.
Yeah, go ahead.
So when we were going to Joplin, one of the coworkers, his name was Bill. Dude was hilarious. Was from Minnesota. Had like the craziest accent. And he would talk about how much he liked ice fishing. And I suck at accents. The only thing I can say, like he said, was garbage. Garbage. He said garbage. But like, just imagine that accent with everything he said. And he was feeling super sick this day. And so he was napping in the back of the truck while me and Skylar was the other guy's name. And I loved working with these two guys. They were hilarious. All the employees all the coworkers I've had, all of my apprentices I've had that I have actually enjoyed working with, they quit.
Well, yeah.
The rest get fired. And so we go through people like crazy where I work. But anyways, me and Skylar were just talking, and then Bill wakes up in the back seat and like scoots up in between the two of us and just goes, Pinoche. Like, what? It's like, Pinoche. I was like, what does that even mean? And he's like, it's Spanish. I was like, really? Because like I know a decent bit of Spanish, but I had no idea what he was saying. I was like, what does that mean? He's like, I'm pretty sure it means like a female genitalia in Spanish. I was like, why did you just wake up, scoot in between the two of us, and the first thing you say is Pinoche? Like, you just woke up and said that. It's like, what were you dreaming about? And he giggles, Pinoche.
Oh my gosh.
And then there's this taco place near this, like a taco fast food place. That's actually, it was pretty good. Called Taco John.
Oh, yeah, it's a chain.
Yeah.
And we were telling Bill that they had one there, and he was like, oh, they had those in, I think he said California, which is where he lived before he moved to Missouri. He's like, they had those in California, and I loved going to those. He was like, we have to stop there. And he was expecting us to stop there on our way to the job. But we were like, no, we'll get the job done, then eat. Because when we got to the job, it was only like 9:30. It's like, it's nowhere near lunchtime.
Yep.
And so we stopped at a gas station before getting to the Mercy, and he wakes up and he's like, this isn't Taco John. We're like, no, it's 9:30. It's like, why would we go to Taco John right now? He's like, But then we went to Taco John afterwards. And for whatever reason, like they were bringing us our food out, and the guy hands my two coworkers their food first, and then he hands me mine. But like when he handed it to them, they were like, thanks. And when he handed it to me, I went, gracias. And the guy, he was just some white guy working at a taco fast food place. He like rolled his eyes and like, oh. And my two coworkers were like holding their mouths. Trying to talk to him. Like, they were holding their mouths. No, they were holding their mouths of like trying not to laugh at the fact that I said gracias. I didn't even think it was that funny. I was like, yeah, it was just a little modest joke, no big deal. Yeah. But the dude, for whatever reason, it like made him so mad. And I was like, I'm glad I waited until after I got my food, or he would have like spit in it or something to make that joke. But I didn't even think it was that big of a deal. I was like, yeah, just a little joke. What's that?
Temperature's too high.
Yeah, I guess it's probably fine. It'll stop recording at some point if it gets too warm. No one can see that.
I know, except for me.
I'll go find the image and put it up there.
The camera's like, stop. I'm gonna die.
How cold is it outside? Not that cold. Never mind. I'll open the door.
Hurry, someone grab a bag of ice. It's like,
I bet it's that stupid light you have on top of it.
No, that thing is like does not get hot at all.
Really?
It does burn my retina though.
It does. Yeah, it will. So I don't
we just got sidetracked from talking about trailers, Holland trailers.
We did talk about Holland trailers for
we were
a
talking
while.
about your Ford Ranger.
Yeah,
you were like, yeah, it did haul a trailer.
It did successfully with like 1,000 pounds on it.
I could probably.
Dang it!
Josiah had an opportunity to work for the same company I do, and he turned it down because of this offer.
No, your offer.
Oh, my offer?
Yeah. I was offered. Sick. What was the job?
You would be, I believe it was like gathering items for orders.
Oh, that's right. It's order fulfillment.
Yeah,
was a position, which is like basically what I was doing at Rocco's. And
you were washing dishes at Rocco's.
No, only for a year. In my entire second year, I was on oven fulfilling, like cutting pizzas and stuff.
Because you kept on telling me about how much dishes you had to wash.
Yeah, I complained about it a lot when I was on dishes, and then after I was off dishes, I hardly complained about it.
I was
the job
entirely. Pizza Hut.
That's right, you were.
That was actually kind of fun.
See,
I had a really fun shift leader is the thing. One of the funniest guys I've ever met.
You have a similar work environment as I did years ago when I was doing construction. You're also getting paid probably double what I was getting paid doing when I was doing construction.
Yeah.
When I started at Ozark Fence 2 years ago, I was making $16.50 an hour.
That's still a lot more than what I was making doing construction.
So
that's actually really nice.
After working there for 2 months, I got promoted and went from $16.50 to $18.
Heck yeah.
And then a couple months after that, I went from 18 to 19. And then this last January, I went from 19 to like 20. And then I went from like 20 to 2070, like the past couple months or something.
Yeah.
So
they want to keep you.
How much do nurses make in hospitals? Because I'm pretty sure you're at that level.
It depends.
Of pay.
But
yeah, I'm thinking like entry level nurse kind of job, or like
probably close to what I'm at. Cause
that's good.
Like before taxes, this last year, I made like $44,000.
Jeez, wow.
Before taxes this last year.
Not bad.
No. But if you count like the fence jobs and all the stuff I did on the side, I made closer to like $55,000 this last year, and I don't have much to show for it.
No, you got a dying truck.
I've got a dying truck, and I've got a podcast studio.
Yeah,
and I had a lot of trips to the steakhouse.
Yay!
Yeah, I'm not great with managing finances.
It's a skill.
Yeah, I've been working on it.
I think I'm the best money manager out of most people around my age that I know.
Well, definitely out of your family.
Are you still 18?
I'm 19.
Oh, you're 19 now?
Yeah. I don't spend money on anything. I live with my parents. I eat my parents' food. When I go out to eat, either you pay for me or my parents pay for me. I go out now that I'm making the money that I make now. I go out and like treat myself with a meal for like once a week. And
that's crazy.
Even then I'm like, okay, but only like $10.
Yeah, most people that do DoorDash like eat a lot of fast food.
Yeah,
like
not me.
So that's awesome that you're always picking up fast food from all these different places, and then you only buy it like once a week.
And what's crazy? Okay, so I've actually taken some friends with me DoorDashing.
I thought you were going to say great. You've taken some food.
No, I've never.
Okay, those fries.
There was one time I was very tempted because I got a bag. And this bag was full of food, and right on top of the bag was just a bunch of fries. And I was like,
it was already like spilled. I could just like sneak one out.
I could just take one and they would never notice.
Dude,
I'm so glad I didn't, because when I had to actually hand it to the customer, and they were very, very nice, and I was like, I'm very glad I did not steal their food.
I wouldn't be able to do it. I couldn't. I would quit because of the amount of urges I'd have to be fighting to not steal food.
Yeah, at this point now, because I've been doing it for like 6 months now, I honestly can't even smell it anymore. Like most places seal their bags, so I actually cannot steal the food unless I'm like a surgeon or I steal some of their stickers to replace the sticker. Yeah. But smart. In fact, there was one time I got handed like 6 stickers from Wendy's, because they're like, if the customer wants their bag sealed, just you do it. And I'm like, okay.
You just got the Wendy's stickers in your car, so like you get like something from Panera Bread and then just put a Wendy's sticker on it after you steal the food,
just to mess with them.
You don't even steal anything. You just tear the sticker off the Panera Bread bag and then put a Wendy's sticker on it, like you did steal something. Just make them that question.
It's like nothing's missing.
What happened? What did he do? He just wanted to like sniff it or something.
Josiah accidentally starts a lawsuit between 2 major corporations.
But I
keep bumping this.
I don't eat from like I'll eat before I leave around 3 p.m. Wow. I'll eat before I leave, and then I don't eat again until I get back at like 10. So 3 to 10 p.m. I'm not eating anything, but I'm constantly around food, and my watch keeps buzzing, and it's really annoying me. But I've taken friends with me, and they're always like, dude, this food smells so good. Like I took my buddy Hudson one time.
Oh, Hudson.
And
of course.
Yeah.
Of course Hudson would
he
do that.
He didn't he was like, dude, you ever like steal the food? And I'm like, no, I actually have never done that. And he's like, oh, I kind of want to. And I was like, well, yeah, I've wanted to, but like I don't. It's kind of like a big moral thing for me.
Kind of like
theft. I could like lose my account. And he was just like, yeah, no, you're right. But by the end of the night, he was like, dude, can we please go to Steak and Shake and get some shakes or food or something, please? And I'm like, yeah, sure. I haven't had my treat this week.
That would be me. Like I'd have to be constantly getting stuff, or I would be way too tempted.
I have a list of things from fast food restaurants that I want to try.
Yeah, because you've smelled
it. I see the ads, and I'm like, ooh, that looks.
Does any of them is any of it the T-Rex?
The T-Rex?
If you go to Wendy's and you get a T-Rex burger,
no, I've never heard of that.
You know why?
Why?
Secret menu.
I didn't know Wendy's had a secret menu.
Dude, it's ridiculous. I can't remember how many patties it is, but it's definitely over. It's like over 8 patties. It's
Holy cow.
I can't remember if it's like 9 patties or if it's like 15.
It's not a T-Rex. That's a hippopotamus.
Dude, it's a massive burger, just patty after patty.
No.
There's over 8 of them.
You know,
that's called obesity.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, I've never had the urge to order that. Not once.
I get.
We have to do it for the podcast.
I get the triple.
You're paying.
I get the triple quarter pounder from Brahms, but that's about as far as I go.
Triple quarter. That's almost a whole pound
of burger. Yeah, and there's been sometimes where I've ate it and I've still been hungry.
Dang,
that's fair though. I feel like there are some burgers that I could eat a lot of.
I remember the first time I ate a 1 pound burger. I was like 12, and I was so proud of myself. Until I realized it was because I was fat. I was like, I'm a man now. And my sister was like, you're fat. I was like, she's right. I'm a fat boy.
Okay, I want to know how many men experience just suddenly getting fat at the age of 8. Because I was lean
later than that.
I was lean all the way until I was 8 years old. And I just...
Dude, I remember in like elementary school, I was that kid that had the abs up until 6th grade. Is when I started to get a little fat, and then 7th grade I was really fat, but I started cross country when I got really fat. And then by 8th grade I was healthy. Freshman year, scrawny. Sophomore year, scrawnier. Junior year, scrawniest, and went through a ton of injuries. And then freaking senior year, jacked, like shredded. Because I did a bulk and I put on 26 pounds in 3 months, I think. That's what it was. And after that bulk, I still had abs. So it's like that bulk was like all muscle.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I used roids. No.
You've never used roids, right?
No,
that's very impressive.
I'm still natty. And I just bulked recently as well. And I put on like 18 pounds in 3 months this time. But my goal this time wasn't to put on weight. It was just to get stronger because I'm training for a powerlifting competition.
Oh.
So I'm very good at bulking, but it's because I've been researching fitness since I was a little fat boy. Mm-hmm. Like I've just loved fitness. It's just been one of my passions. So I read when a new article comes out.
Yeah.
I read like these like Harvard and Stanford research papers on fitness and stuff. And I took the test to be a physical trainer, a personal trainer.
Yeah.
And I passed it, but I didn't pay the $200 for the certification.
Oh.
So I'm not a personal trainer, but I passed the test, so that's got to count for something, right?
Yeah.
So now that you know you can pass it, you could just, when you're ready, you pay that $200, take the test again, and you're like, all right, sweet.
I'm a personal trainer now.
Yeah.
You could just have business cards where you're like, I'm a photographer, personal trainer, motivational speaker,
Yes.
Podcast host.
non-certified clown. You know,
The only person in Missouri that can run a
wire weaving machine.
you know you have to go to college to become a clown.
There is clown
that's true,
college.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure it's free. Is what
Is
I
it?
heard.
I don't know about that.
Well, Steve-O, you guys know Steve-O
Yeah.
from the Inappropriate
Yeah.
Show
Yeah,
name? I was about to say
Jack Donkey.
Yeah, Jack Donkey. I mean,
yeah.
it's in the Bible, right?
It is in the Bible.
So I can say it. He went to clown college because it was the only college that was free.
Well,
Did he
I just-
learn anything? What do you learn in clown? How to fit in a really small car?
Well, here's the thing.
Crowded,
So-
tiny car.
I knew a pastor that was a certified clown. Like, he
Dang.
went to clown college.
That's got to be like blasphemy.
I need
or
to get
something.
a shirt
Well,
that says
here's the thing.
certified clown.
Yes.
Here's the thing. He didn't become a pastor first. He became a
clown.
Then he became a drunk clown. Then he
Oh.
became a
Oh.
sad clown. And then he became a pastor.
Wow.
So,
Interesting.
yeah.
I mean,
Quite
that's
the
the
line of events.
next logical step. Either you have to become a pastor or a mime. That's the only other option.
I thought you were going to say hang yourself.
No,
Become
I
a
mean you
dead
just
clown.
get on like fentanyl and just be one of those clowns.
Yeah.
But
What do you guys think about that? The guy who was the major adult film actor who's he's now a pastor.
oh, the this isn't a beach. This is a bathtub
Oh.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about that.
I forgot about that, but yeah, he is a pastor now.
Yeah.
wild.
That good for him.
Yeah, I know.
I approve.
Right? It makes me so happy.
Yeah,
Like hearing that, like, I was so like ecstatic about hearing that. There's one YouTube channel, I don't remember the name of it, but all they do is like record testimonies, and he was on that.
Is it I Am Second?
I don't know.
Okay, because that's another good one.
But he was on this YouTube show and told his whole story. And that's when I first heard about him becoming a pastor. And then like shortly after that, it like blew up on the internet that he was a pastor. And like people were attacking him. People were supporting him. It hasn't seemed like anybody's been in the middle. There's like, we're going to murder you. Or like, yeah, I'll give you all my money. There hasn't seemed like there's been anything in the middle. But his story is so encouraging. Like, and I think we need more pastors like that. We need more pastors that have
just been drugged through the dirt.
have seen the
skinned.
worst part because skins because they'll actually be able to relate to like those type of people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
an ex-Mormon.
I mean,
I know a guy. Yeah, I knew. So he's an army chaplain still. He may be the only one of his name. Dude, I don't even know what rank he is. I know that he was a captain, I believe, whenever I graduated, and he's still in the army doing this.
wow.
And yeah,
how old are you, Gabe?
I am 26.
That's what I was gonna guess.
Yeah,
Got a good
Yeah.
guess. Do you know how old I am?
Well, you said 20, so I'm guessing 20.
Oh, yeah, I didn't realize I said it. Everybody,
Could be-
I just wanted to see what your guess
Oh.
was.
Remember
'cause
that?
every single person who's guessed my age,
I would guess 22.
I've heard 24. I can't tell you how many times. Everybody says 24.
Dude, someone thought I was
And
like,
most of the time that's coming from like 23, 26-year-old, stuff like
I
that.
think when I was like 17 or 18, somebody assumed I was like 22.
Drinking age.
Yeah. And I was like, no, I'm not.
Yeah, me and Kobe were down at the landing. I was 18, he was 19, I'm pretty sure. And it was the moonshine story. The guy was like, hey, you guys want to come and get turned? He's using all sorts of different lingo. He's like, let's get lit. And I was like, I'm 18. And he like looked down.
It's like, oh,
Misjudged that one. It's like, but sure.
There was on the train at Silver Dollar City, they have a joke that's like, who's it? Don't tickle my feet.
Don't tell me what to do.
They have a joke about like there's moonshiners and they're like, oh, here's one now. Does anyone want to try any of his moonshine? And I immediately raised my hand like so high up. But I can get away with it because I have a beard, so people think I'm older than I am. There was, I remember. Thanks. I just trimmed it earlier today. I like it.
I thought about trimming it and did not.
Wow.
Yeah, I trimmed mine.
Do you have do you grow facial hair?
To stay clean shaven, I shaved today.
Yeah, you definitely did.
To stay clean shaven, I have to shave every day.
Yeah.
But I don't. I shave 3 times a week.
Mm.
Wednesday mornings, Friday mornings, and Sunday mornings.
I shave every other day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Gabe looks like an entire different person if he shaves his beard.
Oh yeah, and I'm not even the same person.
Like not
he goes
at all.
from 26 to like a minor.
Not quite. No, he goes from like Jack Sparrow to just crackhead.
Yeah.
Just druggy.
It's like, all right, you're Jack Sparrow, and now you're white supremacist.
Yeah. It's like with his facial hair, you're like, oh, there's probably like some Mexican in him. But without the beard, it's like, who's this white man?
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I got called a skinhead when I buzzed my head. Like everybody thought I was a Nazi.
Jeez.
Oh, yeah.
Like I buzzed, and I've been thinking about doing it again. I'm glad I remembered that, so I probably won't buzz it.
I thought about shaving my head, like going full bald for
joining a certain club.
No. I thought about it for no, because people keep asking me to shave. They're just like, dude, you should shave. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to get rid of the beard. So someone gave me an idea for
just shave the head.
Yeah, for April Fools to just shave my head and be like, guys, I shaved. And
do you have a nice shaped head?
I don't know.
Mine,
the fact that I wear headphones very often tells me I probably have a dent. So I'm not.
I've got this like weird point right here. Like
genuine.
Like I got a mohawk of my skull.
That's weird.
Like feel it.
It's probably better than not.
What the?
Yeah, it's kind of
weird.
And it's upsetting because I have like a receding hairline, so I feel like by the time I'm like 30, I'll be bald. I'll be just shaving it because the hairline's so bad, and so like I've got a weird shaped head,
angular head.
Dude,
like it's like a roof up there.
I got slopes. I got the slopes.
If I do lose my hair, I would have to just wear like some hat all the time.
Yeah,
which I already wear a hat all the time, but
I've decided if my hair thins, I'm not gonna like try like to comb over or anything like that. Either I'm gonna do like full hair treatment, like go all out, or I'm gonna shave it.
Dude, or you can get like a Lego hairpiece. It's like plastic. It's like a toupee, but just plastic. It's molded. It's perfect all the time.
Dude, I
just get Anakin's hair.
I paid. How long ago was that? That was close to like 2 years ago now. I think that I paid $350 for hair loss treatment.
Dang.
And it worked.
I mean, it worked.
It reversed a little bit, and it hasn't like gone any worse since it reversed. What had happened? I mean, it's still not good. It's still bad.
But I mean, it's like
check this.
I mean, that's about where I'm at. Okay, the peaks are a little.
Yeah, it's about where I'm at too.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, it goes a little further.
He's 26. That's like we got an adult right here.
That's a real man over there.
You got
I had a coworker.
Man.
I had this coworker. He's like 22 or so, and he looks at me. He's like, "Gabe, you're balding." I'm like, "What? What are you talking about?"
Gabe used to have long hair.
Yeah, my hair was like down my back, like just a few months ago. In fact, when I first started coming to your guys' church, I had like that. I had really long hair. I kind of regret cutting it, but I also donated it, so it's cool.
Yeah.
I
think you look a lot better without the really long hair.
I need
You
to get
look
another
like you
haircut.
smoke. You don't smoke pot anymore. Like you looked like you smoked pot, but now you don't.
Dude, when I told people, because like people just assume things.
Yeah.
So like coworkers would ask me about like marijuana, my experiences, and I was like, "Oh, my experience is none. I've never done a drug ever."
And then they look at you like,
yeah, exactly like that.
Sure.
And I'm like, look, I have the eyes. I act tired all the time. I look and act like a druggie. I have not touched one ever in my life.
Yeah.
And they don't believe me.
I got a coworker right now who, I swear he's smoking pot on his way to work every day. He
Jeez.
comes in smelling like pot, and I hate the smell of pot.
Yeah.
And I just feel like I don't even fight it anymore. Like I used to like try to stay away from him because I felt like I was going to throw up. But now I'm like, you know what? I hope I do throw up, and I'm going to do it right on his feet.
Yeah.
If you come in like reeking of pot, I'm just going to puke on your feet, and you'll learn your lesson eventually.
I'm not getting fired.
No, they can't fire me. I'm invincible.
Man, I wonder if you
Yeah.
can get fired. Okay, so like companies will do like random drug testing or whatever. But marijuana is legal in Missouri. Could you still get fired for having it show up on your drug test?
You can. It just depends on the job. Like my mom, being a truck driver, she can lose her CDL if she fails a drug test.
Yeah, and that's a big deal.
If marijuana shows up, even though it's been like the law in Missouri is really weird.
Yeah.
About it. It's like somewhat recreational, mostly pharmaceutical. It's like it's weird. I don't know the details about it.
Oh,